Whoa, there he goes. All right. Welcome in on this glorious Tuesday morning. It is raining outside. It is dreary. It is going to be raining most all week here. But feeling pretty good. Walked in from work about 20 minutes ago. A little bit longer night. Rain screwed up a couple things, but we made it back. So here we go. We've got a lot of news to cover this week. We're gonna, my gosh, we're gonna go over a couple different things today because I'm looking at some of these college football openings. And I'm just looking at it here and I'm like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. So I'm gonna keep obviously a comprehensive list. But starting out the list already, James Franklin with Virginia Tech. Here's something that's really, really, really interesting. Coaching fit. And I know I've mentioned this before, but it came to light this weekend. Coaching fit in college football really matters. And what I am looking at right now is some of the news I've heard is really, really interesting. I did a lot of digging. I was listening to stuff last night. Did a lot of digging in some reporters and some very, very credible reporters and sources have been reporting different aspects of who may move around in this college football coaching carousel. And a name that popped up was that potentially, and this is potentially, but by his own accord, this is what's even more interesting to me. Brian Daboll is interested in the Penn State football job. Now, this man is going to be offered an immediate coordinator position. I don't think he got a full fair shake, a lot like Robert Saleh with the Jets. Brian Daboll did make the playoffs with Daniel Jones. Hasn't looked great. He got Jackson Dart. The team has looked better under Jackson Dart. Blew the ginormous lead, got fired. And now he wants to go college. So I am really, really wondering, what is it that he sees in college that he's not going to get in the NFL? If you've watched Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels, some of his schemes are starting to take hold, but the season's almost over. You've got 2 games left. Not really a big thing. And the reality with this is, I don't know how good Daboll would be. Now, here's the other name that I heard being thrown around because of fit, and that is Kellen DeBoer, which is wild to me. Kellen DeBoer leaving Alabama. Who would they get in his place? Started thinking about this. You've got a lot of these coaches in the NFL. Could they do a CEO type of role? Can you do it without being a great recruiter? And I don't know if Daboll would be a great recruiter or not. I don't know. To me, he's a lot like an Ed Orgeron. If I was a dad of a football athlete and Ed Orgeron walked into my house and talked to me about my son playing for him, I would trust Ed Orgeron. I kind of believe Daboll could be the same way. But Kellen DeBoer, look at the openings. Where is Kellen DeBoer going to go when it comes to fit? Let's pretend for a second that Penn State, Daboll gets hired by Penn State. Where is Kellen DeBoer going? Is he going to Florida? Is he going to Stanford? Is he going to go Oregon State? Oklahoma State? Where would Kellen DeBoer go? You've got some of these coaches from the NFL that are getting really curious about college. And I wanted to kind of play out what this would look like. We got the rankings that comes out tonight. We're going to do a lot of college digging today because we're going to look at some of the draft stuff here today with the NFL. So I wanted to open up with this. We always hear about certain players, who does this, who does that. And I wanted to go through some of the best players in college football. Now, this is stats-wise. It doesn't mean everything else. But I wanted to go through some of the potential players you're going to see on Sunday. And if your team is in need of a pass rushing defensive end, I got good news for you. There are a lot of very good pass rushers, senior pass rushers. This draft is full of pass rushing talent on the edges. And I mean full. What's even more interesting is the secondary. We haven't had a really good secondary class for a while. There's this kid down in southern Mississippi who has not transferred that has 5 interceptions on the year at Southern Miss. Josh Moden. He's a senior, 6 foot, 185 pounds. Most teams will probably want him to bulk up to about 195, 200. He has 5 interceptions on the year. There are a lot of corners that have 5 interceptions on the year. Ahmed Moses plays for SMU. 5'10", 205. Very sturdy corner. Very good in, he plays a lot more safety. Very reactionary. Very, very good. Very, very good. He's got 5 interceptions on the year. There's a senior from the University of California. Hezekiah, I am not going to screw up his last name. I call it Masses. It's Masses. But he has 5 interceptions on the year as well. He has got 10 pass breakups. He is 6'1", 185 pounds. The corner class out of this draft is really good. So here's what could end up happening. Why I bring this up is really simply this. You could see a fundamental switch in how this draft goes because the quarterback class is not as strong. That is why. That is why. Because at the end of the day, we all thought that this class was going to have Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier. We thought it was going to have Drew Aller. Now, I still believe that Drew Aller has an opportunity to come back. He had an injury. I believe the system for Kotelnicki was bad. I believe it was very bad. Very, very bad. And I think he could easily be better. 100% could be better. My thought is really simply this. If we're going to see how everything plays out, or after we see how everything plays out, this is what I'm wondering if, and the number one player is right now is guessed to be Ruben Bain, the defensive end out of Miami. Then you've got Peter Woods, an outstanding defensive tackle from Clemson. But it's all going to depend on who comes out. If underclassmen don't all go eligible, it's going to change the trajectory of where this draft goes. It could be another defensive draft. We've got running backs here. This kid, he's a junior, but this Jacksonville State running back, Cam Cook, just sounds like a running back. 5'11", 195 pounds, but he's a junior. But he plays for Jacksonville State. The guy is amazing. He's got 1,300 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. He averages 6 yards a carry. The guy is electric. Does he play against the greatest of talent? No. But does he have the greatest of talent blocking for him? No. It works both ways. You can't say, well, he's not playing against the best talent. Right. He doesn't have the best talent on his team either. That is why guys like Sean Tucker on Sunday, the running back from Syracuse, annihilated everybody. That's why Tutton, the running back that the Jaguars drafted out of Auburn, and Auburn hasn't been good since Cam Newton, out of Auburn, and no, don't give me the Bo Nix junk. They were not that good, is able to run. Cam Scatterby with Arizona State. They're not playing with 5-star athletes. They're playing with max 4, but mostly 3. A running back that I am really, really excited about here in a couple years is Ahmad Hardy, the running back from Missouri. This kid is electric. He averages 7 yards a carry for Missouri. What's coming down the pike is really good as far as the skill position players, but right now the seniors are on the defensive side. The defensive draft is going to be fantastic. I love David Bailey from Texas Tech. Something terrifies me in saying that Houston or Baltimore is going to end up with this kid. He's 6'3", 250 pounds. Guy is electric quick. He's got 33 tackles, 12 and a half sacks. He's got 2 forced fumbles. He's got a pass breakup. He's able to read the pass. And it's really good. Really good. A linebacker I really love is a linebacker out of Buffalo. Yes, Buffalo, Khalil Mack's stomping grounds. Red Murdoch has 41 tackles, 4.5 sacks as a linebacker, and 6 forced fumbles. He is very good. Red Murdoch is amazing. His blitzing ability, he's 6'3", 240 pounds. Watch the tape. The guy plays so strong. And he's so stout with what he does. He's very underneath his pads. He doesn't play in front of his pads. He doesn't play behind. He plays very underneath his pads, and that is vitally important. Vitally important. But everybody's going to ask, what does it look like in the quarterback? Well, it's not great. It really isn't great. You're going to have guys like Sawyer Robinson is currently leading the college football with 3,200 passing yards for Baylor. Okay? Delaware's junior is currently second, but he's got 18 touchdowns, 7 picks. Walker Eggett from San Jose State has 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It's not great anywhere. Anywhere at all. This isn't great. Now, coming down the pike, we like what we're seeing. Dude, we got some really good quarterbacks coming down the pike. Darian Mensah from Duke. If you haven't watched him play, go watch him. He's got 25 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for Duke. My guess is he's probably going to end up transferring, so you'll watch him on Sundays really soon. The North Texas quarterback, Messmaker. He's pretty good. He's a freshman. He's a freshman, and he's pretty good. So what's coming down the road looks better than what we ended up having this year. This year, in a sense, ended up being kind of a bust. Not going to lie. The quarterback class isn't as strong as it needs to be for some of these teams in the NFL to really be able to make a difference with their draft picks. But between the coaching and the coaching fit with the coaching carousel, and the fact that the draft isn't as strong, it means that we've got a lot of good players still sitting in college football after this draft. And they're spread out. They're at UConn, Buffalo, Texas Tech. They're all over the place. IU. Listen, there is nobody in the world that wants Fernando Mendoza to be drafted number 1 more than yours truly. I want an IU quarterback. Yes. I know he played at Cal for 2 years. I know he hasn't been the full starter here. I get it. But when they call his name, it's going to be Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana University. That's all I give a crap about. Period. Bo Nix, we say Oregon. Okay? Let's just, that's it. Caleb Williams, we say USC. Okay? That's simple. That simple. It'll be an IU player. And it's not the only one. Pat Coogan, the center, is really good. Elijah Surratt will get drafted, hope probably second round. There's more players than just Mendoza. I just want an IU player in the top 5 of the draft. Number 1 would be just a dream, but top 5 of the draft. Speaking of the draft. Oh, buddy. I love it. I love this. All right. So I was looking at the current draft order, and this is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. So as of right now, I wanted to go through this because this is really good. This is really good. As of right now, after all of Sunday's games were played, this is the current draft order, okay? Tennessee Titans 1, New York Giants 2, the Browns 3, Saints 4, Jets 5. After last night's game, the Raiders are 6, Commanders 7, Falcons are 8. Caveat to this. Oh my gosh, the Rams look like absolute geniuses. Caveat. The Rams own the pick from the Falcons. The Rams own that pick. That is huge. And I heard somebody last night go, Michael Penix isn't a good enough quarterback. Oh, give me a break. The guy was 13 of 16 before he got injured. He was leading drives. Stop it. How about you stop running the stupid pistol zone formation all the time and start giving the defense something to really think about? The offensive coordinator is failing in Atlanta. If you don't know football, don't run your mouth. If you're not willing to watch the games, don't run your mouth. That's simple. Penix is fine. He's a lot freaking better than J.J. McCarthy. The Vikings would love to have Penix right now. They'd be winning these games. They'd win all these games. So give me a break. Just give me a break. But anyway, so Atlanta doesn't have their pick. The Rams currently pick 8th. Cincinnati is 9. Arizona is 10, and that rounds out the top 10. Then as the standings are right now, Miami would be 11, Minnesota 12, Dallas 13. Then you have Baltimore, Kansas City, Houston, 14, 15, 16. The Panthers would be 17, and the Detroit Lions would be 18. That is your current non-playoff draft order. So let's work through this for just a second. The Tennessee Titans do not need a quarterback. The New York Giants do not need a quarterback. Could that change in a year? Absolutely. The Cleveland Browns need a quarterback. The New Orleans Saints, I want to pump the brakes on this, and I want to give Kellen Moore a lot of credit for what he's done. We all forgot about Tyler, the rookie out of Louisville. We all forgot about him because Kellen Moore protected him. Kellen Moore put Spencer Rattler out there to take the blunt, take the blows, take everything early on. Tyler comes in, game number 1, looks overwhelmed. It's a rookie. Oh well. Game number 2, he beats the Carolina Panthers. Then they had their bye week. So Kellen Moore gave Tyler 2 starts before the bye week to figure out what works and what doesn't. And now you get to play a Kirk Cousins-led Falcon team this coming Sunday in Tyler's 3rd start. Tyler should be a starter. With Kellen Moore, this team could ruin its draft position. The Saints may not need a quarterback. Everybody had assumed, because Tyler wasn't starting, because everybody jumps everybody, that there was a problem with Suge. I don't think so. I think Tyler is a very capable quarterback, and I am anxious to watch the game on Sunday between the Saints and the Falcons. I am very anxious to watch that game. Because if Tyler can beat them, guess who is now sitting above the Falcons? The Falcons could have one of the best picks they've had for a long time, and they traded it away. Rightfully so. Let me be very clear. That was not a bad move. James Pierce Jr. and Jalon Walker have made a complete difference on that defense. The defense is good. Don't fault the defense for what's happening in Atlanta. Just don't do it. It's not the defense's fault. They are the number 2 team in the league in sacks per game. Are the number 2 team in sacks in general. They have 34 sacks this year. They are not that bad. They are sitting currently upper half of the league in yards per game. Okay? This isn't a bad defense. So don't just assume that Atlanta's going to be in trouble. I think Morris gets fired. I would absolutely go all after Nick Saban. If I am Arthur Blank, I'm not getting Bill Belichick. I'm not bringing that garbage to my city. I'm going after Nick Saban. I want somebody that's got a little bit of rep, a little bit of prestige, that I know can get a good offensive coordinator that can help this offense be what it needs to be, draft another receiver, because right now London is it. Pitts is decent, not great. Bijan is amazing, and you're losing. So at the end of the day, Raheem Morris is going to get fired from Atlanta, and the Saints have a chance to go over. So the Saints may not even be 4th. The Jets could be 4th. But and the Jets play the Saints, and the Jets play the Titans. And then the Raiders still play these guys. So this potentially has a huge bundle and jumbled up effect Where Atlanta, which is owned by the Rams could end up having a top 5 pick. Just say that out loud. The Los Angeles Rams with a top 5 pick. Now, the Cleveland Browns have 2 picks as well. Remember, their other pick is Cleveland. The Jets also, because of the trade with the Colts, have the Colts first round pick. So the Jets need multiple pieces. Browns, multiple pieces. Both have 2 first round picks. The Rams, who don't need multiple pieces, also have 2 picks, and one could be top 5. Do you love football? This is what we could have. The Carolina Panthers could have a worse draft position, and by worse, I mean higher up in the numbers than the Kansas City Chiefs right now. Right now, they are. Right now, they've won one more game. They've played one more game. But they've won one more game than Kansas City. This is wild. I absolutely love it. The Minnesota Vikings are sitting at pick number 12. They're the best 4th place team in the entire freaking NFL. They're only missing a quarterback. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen the rest of this season to this draft order? It's wild. It's absolutely wild. I mean, can you imagine the Rams getting a top 5 pick? Listen, I played this scenario out last night, and this would be a dream come true for, oh my gosh, would this be great. Let's say the Rams make it pretty far. Okay, let's say they lose in the NFC Championship game. Okay? What if, and this is a what if the Los Angeles Rams make a trade to jump up, trade Stafford to somewhere, okay? I don't know if Tennessee's going to get another win. They look pretty bad. I think they're going to end up being number 1. Let's say the Giants, who don't need a quarterback, are sitting there at number 2. They don't need Stafford. But let's say the Jets move up and the Jets or the Raiders, who also only have 2 wins, end up being 3rd. What if the Rams trade Stafford to the Raiders? Or the Rams trade Stafford to the Jets? Just think about this for a second. The Los Angeles Rams have 2 first-round picks. What if Fernando Mendoza ends up with the Los Angeles Rams? You can call me crazy, but if that Atlanta pick, and I don't know if Atlanta's going to win another game, Kirk Cousins looked awful against a Carolina defense that wasn't stopping anything Penix was doing, and he threw the ball in the dirt, and you can tell me he was cold. He's a veteran quarterback. He knows stakes are on the line. The backs were against the wall. That's what a veteran quarterback's brought in to do, and he failed at his job miserably. It looked horrible. The Rams could get Mendoza. The Falcons may only win one more game this year. They could end up with a 4-13 record. The Falcons could be that bad because Cousins can't throw the ball. Drake London, we're going to go through the injuries here, but Drake London is out week to week. They have no receiving core. I mean, I got the Saints this week over the Falcons at home. Absolutely, I'm going Saints. I'm starting the Saints defense in fantasy. What if Atlanta loses this? I mean, the Rams would have a top 5 pick, leverage, and their own? Oh my gosh. Fernando Mendoza to the Los Angeles Rams. You want to talk about a amazing scenario. You get drafted to a team that just made the championship game. And now because they're saving money on you, they're now able to pay Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Turner, and Young. And then they'll draft a corner in the 2nd or 3rd round. Watch for organizations where we're going to do this. I was originally going to play the coaching, the safe or not. We're not doing that tomorrow now. I'm going to go through and we're going to play backup to startup. We're going to go through and we're going to look at some of the backup quarterbacks because of how bad the draft class is that could be thrust into the starting role. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. And because of how bad this draft class is, I still like Cade Klubnik out of Clemson. I think anybody would be smart to draft him, to develop him behind somebody, give him the ability to learn, whether it's a year or, even what Kellen Moore did with Tyler, give him half a year and then see what he can do. A team like the Raiders, I think, would benefit from drafting a player like Klubnik. Would really benefit from drafting a guy like Drew Aller if he can move at the combine. I am not one of the guys that is just throwing this entire draft class out. Everybody else is, though. And when everybody else does, it's normally not smoke. I don't see it. I said McCarthy would be the only bad quarterback out of that draft class. I said Caleb Williams was going to fight for some of the worst, and that is currently accurate. I said Drake May was going to be good. I said Daniels was going to be potentially the best. Nix was going to be probably one of the most consistent. Currently, everything I said about that quarterback class has come to fruition. I like this draft class for the quarterbacks if you let them kind of sit and learn. They've had a lot of turmoil. Garrett Nussmeier, Brian Kelly fired. Lenore Sellers at South Carolina doesn't have the same athletes as everybody else, but he stayed at South Carolina when he could have gone elsewhere. Drew Aller, Penn State, couldn't be Michigan and Ohio State. You guys have heard me. I don't like the offensive game plan. It doesn't fit his quarterbacking style. You are what you are. You don't run an RPO with Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. They're not taking off and running for 5 yards. You have a quarterback style. And I think it's really unfair when we start judging these quarterbacks off of not being able to play their style of football. When you draft a guy, you adapt to their style. That's why the Ravens have succeeded with Lamar Jackson. They adapted to his style, to their credit. They went from Joe Flacco, ran through Lamar Jackson, and look, it worked. Because they adapted. And that's how you build a strong organization. So I am not down and out on the draft class for quarterbacks. I just know a lot of the rest of the league doesn't like what they're seeing, but I think they're being unfair. It was said a lot last year. People don't know how to scout quarterbacks unless it's sitting right in front of their face. And I will be honest with you, yes, because I think the pressure to get a quarterback is so high, people do not scout them correctly. They're perfect example. Kirk Cousins from Michigan State and the Alex Smith, those players don't get looked at as franchise leaders anymore. Dak Prescott wouldn't be looked at as a potential franchise leader. when he came out of Mississippi State. That is a problem. Quarterback inflation has hurt the scouting abilities for scouting quarterbacks because you're looking for the pop. You're looking for the zing. You're looking for the wow. It's not all about that. Drake May, it's not a lot of pop and not a lot of zing. It's just consistent. It really is just consistent. He's mobile. He can run. He got a really good offensive coordinator. And now he's making some really beautiful throws. It doesn't have to be zing and wow. It doesn't have to be Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Jared Goff is still winning in this league, and he is a statue back there. Matthew Stafford is still winning in this league, and he is an absolute statue back there. There's more than one way to win, but are you willing to adapt? This draft is really going to test some of those teams of their willingness to adapt. Will you buy in to the player you drafted? And I can't wait for tomorrow. I got some things tomorrow with backup to start up. I got some players. You're going to probably go, Hawk, you've lost your mind. Potentially. But you can decide that tomorrow. All right, here we go. 10,000-foot view of sports. We have sports elsewhere besides the NFL and college. As usual, in hockey, we had an exciting night. Absolutely exciting night. The Florida Panthers put up 8 goals last night against the Canucks, but the game wasn't 8-0 or 8-1. It was 8-5. So goalie play was optional last night in Florida. Panthers beat the Canucks 8-5. The Sabres beat the Oilers of Edmonton 5-1. Carolina Hurricanes knocked off the Boston Bruins 3-1. Washington Capitals beat the Los Angeles Kings 2-1. The Blue Jackets of Columbus took out the Canadiens in a shootout 4-3. The Anaheim Ducks beat the Utah Mammoth 3-2. You guessed it, in overtime. In the NBA, Giannis is going to get an MRI on after suffering a groin sprain. Not good news for the Milwaukee Bucks. Worse news for the Spurs. Wembanyama is out for a few weeks. Last night, the Cavaliers beat the Bucks 118-106. The Detroit Pistons smashed the Pacers 127-112. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the Clippers again 110-108. The Clippers just keep losing. The Heat beat the Knicks in a thrilling game, 115-113. The Raptors beat the Hornets in a thrilling game, 110-108. Minnesota smashed the Dallas Mavericks, 120-96. The Oklahoma City Thunder continued just streaking through everybody, 126-109. And the Chicago Bulls came up with a huge win last night. Huge win, 130-127 over the Denver Nuggets. In baseball news, the bigger news, Josh Naylor re-signed with the Seattle Mariners on a 5-year deal. That's huge. That is huge for the Mariners as they try to come back and make a run again at that World Series. The Hall of Fame nominees are out for the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Cole Hamels, Ryan Braun, Matt Kemp. Carlos Beltran is a holdover, but Howie Kendrick, Daniel Murphy, Ricky Porcello, Shin Soo Choo, Edwin Encarnacion, Gio Gonzalez, Alex Gordon, Nick Markakis, and Hunter Pence are all eligible. I will be honest with you. I will be honest with you. I only see 2 out of those that are deserving of the Hall of Fame, maybe. Cole Hamels was amazing. Cole Hamels was lights out. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Howie Kendrick, not a chance. Daniel Murphy, I loved him being clutch. Rick Porcello, no. Shin Soo Choo, not good enough. Edwin Encarnacion, I don't know if it was long enough. Gio Gonzalez, no. Alex Gordon, no. Nick Markakis, I loved his consistency at a long career. I don't know if it was Hall of Fame worthy. And then Hunter Pence and Cole Hamels to me are the two. I don't think Ryan Braun's going to get the nods because of the home run stuff. How long was he actually good? How long was Ryan Braun actually a threat? Matt Kemp played, forever, but he was good. He wasn't great. But so there's the news in Major League Baseball. All right. So here we go. Back to the NFL. Justin Fields has been benched again. Tyrod Taylor will be starting this week. Michael Penix out for the year. Kirk Cousins is taking over. Drake London out for a couple weeks with a knee issue. Jamar Chase has been suspended for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. So stupid. Just so stupid. I swear. Sometimes I don't get these guys. But the year's frustrating. Chase is frustrated. His quarterback's out again. I really do believe that Joe Burrow could tell ownership, listen, if you don't fire Zach Taylor, I will request a trade. I really think that could be it. But let's close this out looking at the injury news. Emery Demercado suffered a high ankle sprain in the loss to the 49ers for the Cardinals. He is not going to be available for the game against the Jaguars. Kelvin Beachum went out with the groin injury against the 49ers. He is currently week to week. Garrett Williams, the corner, has a shin issue. He went out against the Niners. He is currently questionable. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Will Johnson are both waiting to hear whether or not they will be playing this week. Drake London already went over that. He has a sprained PCL. He will miss a week or two. We'll see how it goes. Michael Penix is out for the year. For the Baltimore Ravens, Keon Martin, suffered a chest injury against the Browns. He is currently week to week based off of how the x-rays have come back. The Buffalo Bills, this is not good. Christian Benford, their corner, was limited during Monday's walkthrough practice with a groin injury. Nicole Hardman, calf, is probably out. Curtis Samuel also didn't participate in practice. Buffalo is going to Houston. If CJ Stroud comes back, my money may be on the Texans. Just saying. Maybe on the Texans. But that is where Buffalo's at right now. Xavier Legette, he had a hip injury in the game against the Falcons on Sunday for the Panthers. He had a big game. He is week to week. Tyreek Stevenson has a hip/calf injury. He got injured, came back against the Vikings, and then left again. They do need him because that defense is a huge part of what they're doing. The Cincinnati Bengals. Cam Taylor-Britt, the corner, is expected to require foot surgery for the Lisfranc injury that he suffered. He will be out for the rest of the year. Trey Hendrickson will not be playing against the Patriots with that hip injury, so he's still out. Jalen Rivers, the offensive tackle, suffered an ankle injury against the Steelers. He is questionable for the Patriot game. The Patriots are looking really, really good right now. Oh, the Patriots are looking really good for Sunday. Not going to lie. The Cleveland Browns. Cam Robinson suffered a knee injury. He is day-to-day as of right now. Jack Conklin has a knee injury. He is also day-to-day. Dillon Gabriel is still in concussion protocol. We'll see if he clears it by this weekend. If he does, the Browns may potentially have a shot. Dallas Cowboys last night made it out unscathed. Shocking, looking pretty good. Denver Broncos put J.K. Dobbins on IR on Saturday. So he is now on IR, out for the rest of the year. It's going to come down to the rookie, R.J. Harvey, because I have no faith in McLaughlin or anybody behind him. We've already seen that show, and it's not good. Detroit Lions, Khalif Raymond cramped up on Sunday. He's fine. He'll be good. The Lions did play Sam Laporta with a back injury on IR on Saturday. That's a huge blow. That is a huge blow. Terrion Arnold, Kirby Joseph are still injured. Watching them as everything goes on. Marshawn Lloyd has had a hamstring injury, the running back for the Packers. He is nearing a return. Josh Jacobs avoided a major injury. He does not need surgery on his knee, but he will be out for this week. We'll see what happens Thanksgiving against the Lions. Quay Walker had a shoulder stinger on Sunday. He should be good to go. The Houston Texans offensive tackle Titus Howard was limited with a knee injury. Will Anderson was limited with an ankle. Al Shire was also limited. He's kind of sick, a little bit different. Jalen Petrie, though, has a concussion. He is currently still in concussion protocol. We'll see how that plays out. Dalton Schultz, his shoulder injury, he is still listed as questionable. CJ Stroud also is in concussion protocol as well. If Davis Mills starts for the Texans, I give the Bills a lot better chance to beat them. But if CJ Stroud starts, listen, the Bills can be run on. And CJ Stroud could be a little bit more comfortable. And that Texan defense, I believe, is one of the few that could stop and stymie Josh Allen, especially at home, especially on a short week. We'll see what happens. For the Indianapolis Colts, there is actually some more news. Buckner, on the 14th, so Friday, received regenerative stem cell treatment for the neck injury. We don't know when he's going to come back. Nobody knows when he's going to come back. I am okay with this. You do not deal with neck injuries lightly. You don't just throw them to the side. You don't say it's not that big of a deal. No, that is not what you do with neck injuries, especially for a defensive lineman. So I am completely okay with them taking his time, but he did get stem cell regenerative treatment to be able to help the neck. I hope he's okay because neck injuries like that are very dangerous, and I hope DeForest is okay. He is an absolute professional and has been one of the best defensive players in the league for a while. Myeshel Tutton went out of the game against the Chargers on Sunday with an ankle injury. From everything I read yesterday, he's fine. Greg Newsome went out with an ankle injury. His is a little bit more severe. We'll see if he's ready for the Arizona game this coming week. Trayvon Walker is dealing with a knee injury. He went out against the Chargers. They played everything pretty safe against the Chargers. They got up to a huge lead, and then they decided not to risk anybody. Brian Thomas was out. They do potentially get people back by the time they play a really meaningful game. They got to beat the Cardinals. They really have to beat the Cardinals this week, and I think it's definitely possible for them to do so. Kingsley, the offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, has suffered a concussion against the Broncos, which means he's going to be out for the game against the Colts. Jonah Lalu, the defensive tackle for the Raiders, last night sustained a rib injury. He is currently week to week. Nothing new on the Chargers. Omarion Hampton should be back after Thanksgiving, hopefully. The Rams, Quentin Lake, the safety. He's going to need some time to recover from the elbow injury that he sustained on Sunday. Tyler Higbee injured his ankle on Sunday, opening up the door for Terrence Ferguson to come in and get some very valuable playing time before the playoffs may not be horrible for the Rams. The Miami Dolphins. Oh, geez. There's a lot. There's a lot. The Miami Dolphins are injured. Nobody really seems to want to play. Juju Brents went down for the year with the foot injury, so he is going to go on IR. He's out for the rest of the year. The Dolphins are they got to restart. They got to restart. Ryan Kelly for the Minnesota Vikings is still currently dealing with the concussion. It was a pretty bad one. Jeff Okudah, the week before, if you remember, they placed him on injured reserve. I like this. Teams are taking concussions seriously. And I highly respect what teams are doing. Okudah had played great at corner for them. He fits Brian Flores' system very well. But they're not taking the chance. The person matters more than the game. Player matters more than the game. Without the player, you don't have a game. And some of these organizations are getting this, and I love seeing concussions, IR, DeForest Buckner, neck injury, IR. I love seeing that because it's taking care of the players, which in basically the corresponding move is you're then taking care of the game. You're protecting the game by protecting your players. I'm not saying we need to stop hitting. Notice, in none of that did I say we need to stop hitting, stop tackling, stop this, stop that. I didn't say any of that. When you get injured, if it's something that can affect you long term like that, you're cautious. And I highly respect what these organizations are doing. The New England Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson, should be practicing this week for the Patriots. Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping he'd be out for the game against Cincinnati because I have TreVeyon Henderson in fantasy, and Henderson has looked amazing, as I called that he would. The New Orleans Saints, nothing new this week. Be careful. Coming off a bye, they could look really, 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 really good. The New York Giants, they're on the road against the Detroit Lions. Jackson Dart is still in concussion protocol. However, I do believe that Dart and the Giants could put up points against the Lions, not beat them, but I think Dart in a dome on that field, I think he could easily put up some points against a Detroit Lion defense that isn't great, good, not great, and I think that could be a really entertaining game. But the Giants did put Evan Neal, their offensive tackle, on injured reserve with a hamstring injury. New York Jets, nothing really new. They put Marcelino McCary-Ball. They put him on the designated to return list. Nothing else new there. Lane Johnson has a Lisfranc sprain. He'll be sidelined 4 to 6 weeks. The Eagles will put him on IR. I mentioned that yesterday. The Pittsburgh Steelers really got banged up in that game over Cincinnati. They got the win, but Jaylen Warren has an ankle injury. They said he probably could have come back, but we'll see what happens through practice. Rodgers is a 50-50 shot to play the Bears this coming week. Brandon Echols, the corner, ankle injury. He's week to week. Keyshawn Williams is now in concussion protocol, so he's probably out. The San Francisco 49ers, good news for them. They are going to be opening Jacob Cowing's 21-day practice window following their Week 14 bye. So that'll be a player they potentially get back. They still haven't opened Brandon Ayuk's. Brandon Ayuk, that's a really weird one right there. That's not good. That is not good, and we'll see where that goes. Gray Zabel, the guard for the Seahawks, is day-to-day with a knee injury that he suffered against the Los Angeles Rams. Tyrese Knight, the linebacker, he's probably got a concussion, so he's probably out for the game against the Tennessee Titans. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jamal Dean is day-to-day with a hip flexor strain. And nothing else new there. The Tennessee Titans, Chimere Dike, clear concussion protocol, but he did sustain a chest injury against the Texans. Alik has a hamstring injury. He is currently day-to-day right now as the Titans are waiting to see how this will play out. Jalen Lane for the Commanders, the only new injured player, sustained a hip injury in the third quarter of the game there in Spain. And there we go. That is your injury list. Just refreshed. Nobody new got fired. Not that I expected anybody to get fired, but nobody new got fired. And that is going to be all that we have for today. There we go. All right, guys, as always, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. It is Tuesday, one day closer to the weekend again, one day closer to football. Make it the best Tuesday that you possibly can, whether it is raining and 42 degrees, very rainy and 42 degrees, or whether you are sitting in sunny Florida or sunny California, wherever you may be. Make it the best day you can. That's all you can do. Make it the best day you can. Thank you so much for hanging out. As always, please like, subscribe, share the podcast with a friend. I deeply appreciate it. We're going to take a 23-hour break, and I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, live here on Sports Talk with Hawk. Until then, I'm Hawk, and I'm out. Peace.